Let's get into today's episode of Why We Succeed. Before we wrap things up, there's a segment of our show. I need to come up with a better name, but so far I'm calling it Pick 3, where I'm going to leave you with 3 quick questions that I'll ask you and get your thoughts on. So first thing I want you to do, you can pick any number between 1 and 16. And once you got your first number, let me know. I'll ask you a question and we'll go, with the other 2.
Okay, I'm good.
So between 1 and 16, what's your number?
13.
13. So the question is, what is oh man, I feel like you already answered this. Pick another number because this actually kind of goes back to a gem that was shared with you. And I mean, you already loaded us with so many of those. So with that in mind, you mind picking a different first number?
7.
7. Okay. If you could go back in time, what is one thing that you would change about your business or how you got started?
I probably would have got started sooner because I don't think I would change anything that happened because I think it all happened for a very important reason and has shaped me into who I am today. So by changing any of that, I would change the man that you're talking to today. So the only difference would maybe be getting started a little bit sooner, or maybe that one kind of story of perfectionism with the first ebook where I spent 6 months. I probably would have launched that in like 6 days.
Right. And I'm curious, with that in mind, starting sooner, how much sooner would you have started?
If I could go back, I probably would have started at 2025. So 25 was a transitional point in my career. I was leaving the sales and leadership within the wireless industry to get into the health club business. I probably, like I said, if I could have gone back, I probably would have started to, do some things on my own back then. Because I kind of felt, like an itch. So maybe there was a little bit of doubt because you asked me about self-doubt back earlier, and I didn't remember this, but there was a little bit of maybe hesitancy or fear back then of like, was I actually would I have been able to do it all on my own? But yeah, probably around 25.
Okay. That's good, man. I appreciate that. So
I had a couple
your second
years of
number,
business like already behind me. I had some, I had some experience like working in sales and leadership. So I probably had enough ability back then, maybe just some limiting belief about myself.
Right. Yeah. And
since you asked earlier,
it impacts us all, right? And, sometimes we can forget, and it's amazing that, that came back up and, like somebody out there, I'm sure, is dealing with self-doubt. And to hear you say that, hey, that self-doubt caused you to not start as soon as you would have wanted to. So to somebody listening,
so I hope it doesn't make me look like a liar. I definitely wasn't lying earlier. I just didn't remember.
You didn't remember. Nah. I mean, that happens, man. Like, how many experiences we have over life, and then it can just be that right question or that right statement that just triggers something that didn't come to mind at first. So, man, you're good, Frank. So what's your second number? Anyone between 1 and 16?
Oh, I got to pick another number. Let's go with 3.
3. This is perfect too. What is a book that you want to read, but you haven't picked up yet?
Whew. God, I mean, I have like a running list of books that I'm about to get into. I started one a few months ago and it kind of overwhelmed me at the beginning. So I stopped, but I'm a little upset at myself for doing that. So I'll tell you that one. It's actually the one sitting over here on my shoulder, Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins. It just started really thick and deep, and I had a lot of other things going on at the time. I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna, be able to retain anything out of this book." But I know it's in it. I know the information is something that I need to get. I just haven't yet because it is an intimidating read. It's very deep on understanding, the levels of consciousness and how we operate through different energies and whatnot. So that would probably be the one. But I will read it here very, very soon.
That's good. And our last of the 3 questions, man. Pick one last number between 1 and 16.
11.
11. So the question is, who would you want in your inner circle? You know how they talk about the 5 closest people to you. If you could pick your 5 people in your inner circle, who would they be?
Can it be the circle I already have? Because I'm pretty happy with that.
It definitely can, man. Call them out.
Yeah, well, I mentioned a few. I mentioned a few of the names here earlier. Vince Del Monte. Was guess you could say he's a boss. I've worked within his organization, but he truly is, the first mentor that I had. Josh Kachadorian, who, wrote a book called The Standard, which is discovering Jesus as the standard of masculinity, who was there with me, like I said, in October when I was saved in Orlando.
Right.
Mike Westerdahl, who is, one of my best friends, and, my life changed at his gym on February 14th, 2019. Put Jesus in that circle, if that's okay.
Yeah, it is, man.
That's four of the five. So the fifth one is Dan Long. He's the host of the Born to Impact podcast, wildly successful, entrepreneur here in the Tampa Bay area. Somebody, that fortunate to get to spend time with, almost on a daily basis. So yeah, it's not like a dream list, because, I really feel like I'm living my dream right now.
That's amazing. And that was the one thing that stood out to me, is like, it doesn't get any better when the inner circle is already your inner circle, right? Because so many people have a dream inner circle, but they're not yet connected to those people. And it just goes to show you that alignment, going right back to your definition of success, is being in alignment with the right people, right? That's what we're all about, relationships. And when you see that you already have those people that you want to align with in the inner circle, success is the only option, man.
Yeah, because if there's somebody in the world right now that I would want to be in touch with, and they're not maybe, an immediate touch point for me, through that list, through that inner circle, I could reach probably almost anybody that I needed to. So that's good enough for me.
Oh man, I love it. Frank, man, you have been amazing. We appreciate you so much for coming on Why We Succeed. I definitely have learned so much from you, and I know that our listeners have as well. Before we go, let them know how they can get in contact with you, show you some love and support.
Yeah, anybody out there that, wants to check out the podcast, I host a weekly, interview style, very, very similar to what we did here, the long format interviews. It's called The Superhuman Life. So you can find us on Apple or any Spotify, any platform. We're on all the platforms. My company, Rebuilt Recovery, is on a mission to help men overcome their addiction to pornography through the power of faith and fitness. You can find us at rebuiltrecovery.com. Or if you want more information or more content around that, we do daily videos on YouTube. The channel is Rebuild Your Life. Anybody that wants to connect with me, Instagram is probably the best place socially. You can find me at The Superhuman Frank. Reach out, say hi, send a message if you have any questions. I'd love to hear from anybody.
Oh man, Frank, that's amazing. I'm going to make sure that I have the link to your podcast, your YouTube channel, all of your businesses. It'll be in the description for anybody to check out. And I encourage you guys, this is what this podcast is all about. It's connecting. Frank is giving you guys the invitation to reach out. Do so. I know you guys found value in the things that he shared. I know I did. And before we go, Frank, are there any questions that you'd like to ask me, or any last or closing words you want to leave us with?
No, bro. I just want to thank you again, for what you're doing. Big fan of, the work here and the mission, and, grateful to have been brought back on, and, hopefully something I said here today, resonates with somebody and they go take action.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Frank, man. It's truly a pleasure. Can't wait to have you come back on in the future, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the discussion with Frank. And if you have a better or a cooler name for the segment of the show where I ask guests random fun questions, or you have a question of your own that you'd like me to add to the list, please go ahead and share it with me by leaving a comment or using the contact form over on whywesucceed.com. I can't wait to hear from you and to see what you come up with. Also, if you want to hear the unreleased parts of my discussion with Frank and gain access to other exclusive content, join our Patreon today. The link is in the description, along with Frank's contact info. Thank you for supporting Why We Succeed, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to catch you in the next episode. Until then, stay blessed.